In Harvey County have approved a bond issue for the Halstead-Bentley School District. The vote passed 352 to 321 in favor of the $28.5 million bond issue. Now that money will be used to pay for improvements to Bentley Primary School, Halstead Middle School, Halstead High School, and some other district buildings. These results unofficial until the election canvass is complete. The interest rates on new federal student loans are expected to hit a 12-year high. This upcoming school year, the interest rates for undergraduate student loans will rise above 6.5%. That's up from 5.5% this year. However, President Biden's new student loan repayment plan, named SAVE, could make it easier for future borrowers despite the increases. The Biden administration currently working on a set of proposals to deliver relief to certain groups of borrowers. We're watching your wallet this morning, as it may soon cost more to attend a state university. The Topeka Capital Journal reporting every public university in the state asking for a tuition hike, with Fort Hays asking for the highest, with an increase of about 6%. Emporia State, Wichita State seeks a 4% increase, and the University of Kansas and Pittsburgh State seeking a 3.5% hike. K-State is looking for the lowest increase at 2.8%. Now, just last year, the Board of Regents approved each of an increase of at least 5%. Attorney General Chris Kobach suing the Biden administration over its efforts to expand who Title IX protects. The landmark law for schools that get federal funding includes the LGBTQ+ community, which Kobach says is unconstitutional. The change from the Biden administration has been in the works for 2 years. Kobach has threatened to sue the administration over that change for at least a year.
Most Kansans know the difference between a man and a woman, but Biden's Title IX regulation effectively requires universities to pretend that there are no biological differences between men and women, and effectively erases those differences.
The ACLU argues the lawsuit advances Kobach's own agenda rather than protecting the policy's previous intentions. The lawsuit includes 3 other states: Alaska, Utah, and Wyoming.